Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Ready for some new drama from Ask a Lawyer? Let's go to the first one, about OP's parents, who threatened to disown OP after she refused to share her boyfriend with her golden child sister. Listen to the story, guys, to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 23, have been dating my boyfriend Nick, 25, for 4 years now. He had been coming to me and my sister's shared apartment more than I could even see my sister. He lived across the hall from us, and we immediately clicked and started dating. My sister, Jessica, 25, loves to party and is barely home since we moved out of our parents' house. She had been bringing people up to our shared apartment without my consent, which infuriated me. I had been paying for the rent, and she did not contribute 1 cent because she could not get a job. So the ones paying up for her were our parents. We've not been close ever since we were young. She had always been the favored child, and all I get were her hand-me-downs. When I decided to move out, my parents begged me to bring her with me. They said she'd learned independence when I lived with her. With a heavy heart, I decided to agree. Everything went downhill when virus started, and Jessica was forced to not leave the apartment due to our apartment's strict health policy. Me and my boyfriend started seeing her more, and she did not hesitate to make it obvious she was jealous of our relationship. So she started asking my boyfriend to treat her like I got treated, because he needs to get the approval of his future sister-in-law. And my boyfriend, being the nice man that he is, he also started cooking food for my sister. Sometimes doing her laundry when I was too busy doing my work, and basically also treating her as if he were her butler. I told him he could refuse, but he just always tells me he needs to get on the good side of my family. And in no time, I know my sister had started falling for my boyfriend. She also had started becoming very touchy and clingy with my boyfriend. He soon had started to give her the cold shoulder to show her he's not interested. My sister would throw tantrums and call it unfair that I get to be treated like a princess and she doesn't. My parents started blowing up my phone to tell me that I needed to break up with my boyfriend because it's ruining my relationship with my sister. I told them they should stop taking her side, and she needs to stop acting like a child. They bargained with letting me stay with my boyfriend, but he needs to treat my sister like a girlfriend as well, which made me mad. I dropped the phone on them and confronted my sister. She said, and I quote, "Maybe it's time for you to pay me back for all the things I gave you when we were children," meaning all the broken hand-me-downs that I received because my parents could not afford to buy me new stuff to keep up with her lifestyle. I kicked her out, and my parents had been threatening to disown me and have me refund for the rent they have been paying for my sister's behalf if I don't patch things up with her, and how dare I let my boyfriend ruin our family. I just ended up blocking them all. Am I the a-hole? OP's sister is the golden child. Nothing OP does will change that, so it is best if OP goes no contact. Because the only thing OP will see is them favoring her over and over again, without taking OP's feelings into account. OP needs to keep her boyfriend and ditch her family and live happily ever after. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. Layla Palooza says, "All things considered, I feel horrible for my boyfriend because he had been blaming himself, even when I told him it's not his fault, and my sister just needs to accept the reality that the world doesn't revolve around her. I'll keep on reassuring him. Any other advice to keep this out of his mind?" Bam F1701 says, "Not the a-hole. Your entire family is insane. As far as your boyfriend goes, it sounds like your sister sees something you have that she doesn't. Therefore, she wants it. So she's going after him. And your parents, being under her thumb, are doing her bidding. I gotta be honest. Being disowned might actually be a good thing. It would remove all measure of control they have over you. They just don't realize it yet." My mother has admitted to my brother, Jay, that she manipulated and lied to me and my ex, Allison. She messaged and lied to Allison about me, saying that I was flirting with a childhood friend, Jess. My mom fabricated screenshots of Jess and I's conversations and sent them to Allison. Allison didn't want to ruin the relationship I had with my mother, so she wouldn't tell me who was giving her this information. A little backstory. My mother and my brothers were all the family I had growing up, as my father was absent growing up. So naturally, my connection with my mom became extremely trustworthy to me, and Allison knew that. So I, being the laid-back with nothing to hide kind of person I am, let Allison go through my phone. I hadn't been in contact with Jess for several months, so there was nothing but old messages. Allison had found this suspicious and started accusing me of having separate accounts to speak to Jess. I argued that I didn't, and I ended up sleeping on the couch that night. So, since I had no friends at the time, I went to my mom to talk about this. We spoke and she gave me advice to try and fix it, but immediately started to feed more lies to Allison. This started more conflict between Allison and I, resulting in me getting kicked out of our apartment. So I went to my mom's house to stay until Allison and I decided to talk things out. A few days pass, and Allison and I agree to meet and talk over dinner. I arrive to the agreed restaurant at the agreed time, and she's nowhere to be seen. I text her to see if she's running late, and my text goes green. I try to call her, and it goes straight to voicemail. So I naively think her phone is dead, and she'll be here soon. I wait 30 minutes, no response. I wait another 30 minutes, still no response. I decide I should go to our apartment and see if she's okay. I walk into our apartment and everything of hers is gone. All that is left is a note from her with the engagement ring, telling me that we were over and that she's already blocked me on every social media platform. Jump to now, I'm still trying to recover from this when my brother, Jay, brought his girlfriend, Michaela, home for cards with my mom, Jess, and my grandparents. Michaela had a fairly severe toothache causing a headache, so Jay comes into the house with Michaela and greets Jess and our mom. He immediately takes Michaela to the dining room away from the conversation and sits her down so he can go and greet our grandparents. Meanwhile, Michaela overhears my mom and Jess talking about how rude it was for Michaela to not greet them and called her a B. She tells Jay, and he proceeds to confront Jess and our mom about this, to which they deny it. Jay decides it's not worth the drama, leaves with Michaela and goes back home. He's had enough of it, as this is not the first time gossip like this has happened. Jay comes back to our mom's house the following day to talk to her about it. While she is in the other room, he takes the phone and looks at the conversations between Jess and our mom, finding proof of what they had said, along with my mother's admission to trying to get Allison to dump me, so Jess could have a chance of getting with me. So, does anyone have advice as to what I should do in regards to my relationship with my mom? Edit. To clarify, I'm not dating, nor do I have any interest whatsoever in dating Jess. Honestly, there is not much worth saying here. It's one thing to not like your kid's partner. We were all human after all. But acting on this in such a backstabbing way? Nope. OP wouldn't even know about this if it wasn't for his brother snooping. And she clearly has no remorse for her actions if she's already talking bad of OP's brother's partner. If OP wants to have a romantic partner of choice and live his life with honest and kind people, then OP's mom needs to go, at least for a while. And now let's hear the community's opinion. UKNZ007 Tubbs says, "You and your brother need to cut her from your life. And as for Jess's part in all this, cut her too." Interval Faster says, "You want a relationship with someone that ruins your life on purpose?" Outrageous Oranges says, "She needs to be cut out of your life. What's to say she won't do this kind of thing with every partner you have? No partner of yours will want that as their mother-in-law. And it sounds like the only person your mom will accept is Jess anyway. Whether you want to retaliate against her is up to you. But bare minimum, if you want a healthy romantic relationship, you need to cut your mom out of your life." Currently on a vacation with my wife's extended family. Our family, wife's parents, her sister's family, and her brother's family all sharing one beach house. An issue has come up around my nephew's, 10 male, wife's sister's only child, behavior and his parents' expectations on the rest of us. The boy is super hyper-competitive. He only wants to engage in activities that are games, contests, or sports. While I have no problem with this, as many kids his age are similar, including to a slightly lesser degree my son, 12 male, the issue is that he is not allowed to lose. Or, to more accurately rephrase, those playing with him are not allowed to win, per his parents. On to the issue. The house we are staying in has a game room, a TV with a Wii, a small pool table, and a foosball table. Upon arrival, the kids were attracted like flies to the foosball. The first match was my son versus the nephew. As the adults were still getting settled in, we heard an ungodly wail, followed by a massive crash coming from the game room area. Per my daughter, 9 female, and the other cousins, my son managed to score 3 consecutive goals on nephew. This put nephew into a rage, who began screaming, flipped over the table, then grabbed a Wii controller, hurled it at the TV hard enough to bust the screen. In the ensuing fallout, we discovered the no one else allowed to win rule. My wife's sister and her husband explained that one of the ways they show nephew how special he is, by orchestrating all of his playtime and activities to make sure he always wins. In fact, husband said that had he known there was foosball going on, he would have been in there to oversee playtime and rules so that nephew wins. As wacky as this sounds, the parents are now pushing the narrative that the only way my son could score on nephew was by cheating. They want my wife and I to force our son to admit to cheating and apologize for it. My wife wants to keep the peace. She's telling my son to just do it and get it over with, so we can have a nice week. I am completely against it. I give no craps about my son winning a stupid game of foosball, but to be forced to admit and apologize for something he didn't do, just to massage the ego of a 10-year-old, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This happened 2 days ago, and nephew won't drop it. He is referring to my son as the cheater, as is my brother-in-law. I'm about to pack up and leave, but my wife says that makes me an a-hole. So, verdict please. OP's son didn't cheat. He won fair and square. And OP can't have his son to be forced to confess to things he didn't do. OP's nephew has some problems, and his parents are fertilizing them with this kind of BS. OP needs to tell those parents that he won't have his son confess to spare their child from reality. End of story. And now let's hear the community's opinion. OP Quality says, not the a-hole. Your in-laws are the primary a-holes, obviously, for absolutely wrecking their son with horrendous parenting. Your wife is a bonus a-hole for not sticking up for your son. He's going to remember that. Not really serious, but boy, it would be satisfying if they're going to insist on calling your son the cheater. I'd suggest that your nephew be deemed the loser. McClemington says, not the a-hole at all, and I'd personally tell the brother-in-law to go duck himself, and that he's setting his child up to fail in life, as he won't be able to handle a setback without losing his crap. How does the nephew survive in school? Does he get his dad in to tell his teachers that they cheated when he fails a test? Dude, you are so not the a-hole here. Pallid Bat says, not the a-hole. So much not the a-hole. They need to introduce their kid to the wacky ideas of fair play, and not always winning. My 10-year-old doesn't take losing well either, but we use that as instructional time to teach him how to do better next time, and how to graciously accept losing. In my opinion, not forcing your son to apologize is a hill to die on. I, 28 male, am getting married to my girlfriend, 26 female, of 16 months in a couple months from now, due to just falling for her quick and wanting to settle down before I'm too old to. So, for some context, I'm black and tend to like to wear a lot of white and brighter colors in my day-to-day life, but to get to the point quickly, I was with my wife's brother just because he was going to be one of my groomsmen per my wife's requests. I was thinking that we could both figure out how to make the suits match or look well together while we were at the tailor's, but he seemed kind of weird when I wanted to buy the white suit. He said something like, "Don't you think white is more of a bride thing?" But never thought much about it, due to just knowing about grooms wearing white to their own weddings before. About 2 days after this shopping for suits time, I come home from work to my wife, or future wife, whatever you want to say, and she's extremely upset and angry for seemingly no reason to me. So, of course, I ask her what's wrong, thinking it was something wrong with the wedding, or a wedding service not being done right. She proceeded to ask me how could I make the wedding all about myself. She told me her brother called her telling her that I wanted to buy a white suit. To be honest, after thinking about it for the past couple days, I actually wanted to just not do it and buy a normal suit to make her feel like the most important person on her special day. After letting her scream and yell her heart out to me, I was just sitting there and listening, not wanting to get upset myself, regardless of her strange reaction. But then she said, "You always make everything about you, and I'm sick of it." This actually struck a nerve with me, because I would hear this all the time in my childhood and such, about how I'm self-centered and selfish. So, as an adult in a relationship, I didn't want to be like this. I refused to ever let her or any other past relationship celebrate my birthday or buy me gifts for holidays or anything else due to not wanting to be seen as selfish. For the past week, I've been sleeping in my car since she kicked me out of our home for the time being and wanted time to cool off. I don't have anyone to go to and don't want to have a pity party with anyone I don't know. But I've been thinking about this and kind of been thinking that I'm truly in the wrong right now. And maybe I actually am making her day about me and being selfish in the sort. So, am I the a-hole for wanting to wear white? Small edit. Ever since the proposal, I have sometimes noticed my wife acting weird, or even suggesting I wear something different if I wear white in public while I'm with her. So maybe I was very stupid and blind to this very neon red flag. Cynical Mage says, "So, I'm thinking 16 months was definitely not enough time to get to know one another. Screaming at you and making you sleep in your car for the past week? She does realize that a wedding is about both people getting married, right? Not the a-hole, but run. Seriously, a lifetime of misery awaits you should you go through with this." Sue PR80 says, "Not the a-hole. She's being selfish for stating it is her day. It's your day as a couple, both of you. If you two can't communicate about something so simple before you get married, please do not get married." Cranky Wife says, "Not the a-hole, or more precisely, you are not wrong for wanting to wear white, but your choice of bride really sucks. As you're falling asleep in your car tonight, consider whether this is the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with, because her temperament is not likely to get better once the honeymoon period wears off."